Hey guys, what's up? Back in another video. Today we are going to do a review, a classic pay-per-view review of the 2020 Royal Rumble. Just got finished watching it a couple minutes ago. Yeah, it was a 4-hour event, and I'm pretty tired. So let's get this on the way, shall we? Before I fall asleep. I don't want to fall asleep drawing this review. First off, we kick off with the Falls Count Anywhere match between King Corbin and Roman Reigns. This was a pretty fun opener. You know, it really went really went through the building and through the stadium. It was a Falls Count Anywhere match, of course. So you know, I'm glad that it actually went through the stadium. They took advantage of the massive stadium that they were in. Dolph Ziggler, it was kind of very slow paced at first, very slow paced for the first half of the match. And then Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode came out to help Corbin, which brought out the Usos to help Roman Reigns, and it really picked up from there. You know, the intensity, the excitement, you know, really picked up during that part. You know, when the people got involved. Yeah, it was a good match. My only problem is I just wish it was the end of that feud. But we would see it again the month later at February's show at Super Showdown 2020. Less say about that show, the better. But yeah, they would continue it in a steel cage match. Roman Reigns would go over here. He would get the win over King Corbin, and we move on from there. Good opener. Maybe a bit too long, but it was what it was. Yeah, let's move on. Next matchup, we have the 30-woman Royal Rumble match. The 30-woman Royal Rumble match. So, pretty cool that they have the Royal Rumble matches. You know, this one was, you know, they separate them. It's good. It's great that they actually separate the Rumbles, so they don't do back-to-back Rumbles. But the problem is sometimes especially when the show is 4 hours, some of the other matches do suffer because of the fans are trying to pace themselves. This women's Royal Rumble, was pretty good. You know, we started out with Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss, which is always good for my heart. They lasted a long time. You know, I think Bianca Belair was in for 32 minutes, and you know, Alexa Bliss was also in there for a while before she got eliminated. Before number 16 came out, well, number 15, 16, around that time period. Yeah, good showing from Bianca Belair. She would have a better Royal Rumble the year later in the Thunderdome Royal Rumble, but let's say about that one until we talk about that one whenever we talk about it. So yeah, it was a pretty good, decent Rumble. This was you know, very solid performance from the ladies. There was a good moment where Otis came out from underneath the ring and kind of saved Mandy Rose from being eliminated by landing on top of him. Good elimination spot there. Yeah, but it would come down to Charlotte Flair and Shayna Baszler, and Charlotte Flair would go over to become to win the Royal Rumble. Don't really agree on the winner. I think Shayna Baszler needed it more than Charlotte, but it is what it is. It's just another accomplishment for Charlotte Flair, the Queen, to add to her Hall of Fame career. So can't really argue too much. It was a good Royal Rumble. Next matchup, we had Bayley defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. This one kind of suffered the same effects that the AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match suffered from the 2019 Royal Rumble. The fact that it went on after the Women's Royal Rumble. Yeah, it kind of suffered. The crowd wasn't really into it, and good heel work from Bayley as she was taunting Lacey Evans' daughter at ringside. But apart from that, it was really kind of an average match that you probably see on SmackDown or Raw around that time. Bayley would pick up the win, and we move on to the next match as Bayley would retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Moving on, we had The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, defending the Universal Championship against Daniel Bryan in a strap match. So, oh man, very emotional roller coaster match for me this was, because this is the first match in a while that I've seen of Bray since his passing in August last year. Yeah, don't want to talk about that too much, but you know, we'll talk about the actual match. Daniel, you know, it was a good match. It really solid stuff. I feel like the strap the strap match, with it being a strap match, it kind of held them back a little bit, but it didn't really take too much away. It didn't take away too much of the match. Some of Daniel Bryan's best matches, in my opinion, have been when he's the underdog. When he's trying to climb the mountain, when he's got a big mountain to climb. Like the Authority at WrestleMania 30 comes to mind. But yeah, the Fiend was the unstoppable monster at this point until he fucking ran into Goldberg. But no less say about that the better. But yeah, Daniel Bryan and Daniel Bryan and the Fiend, they put on a great match right here. Man, it was good. It was good stuff. A very emotional roller coaster, as I said. Yeah, it was a good match, and the Fiend retained the championship. And I've just got to take these moments as much as possible because there ain't gonna be no more, and that sucks. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Before I get too emotional. Anyway, don't want to bring those emotions back. Anyway, next matchup we had Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. This is a rematch 1 year in the making as Asuka defeated Becky Lynch for the SmackDown Women's Championship on the Royal Rumble 2019 before Becky would go on to win the Royal Rumble and go on to win the Royal Rumble and go on to main event WrestleMania and become one of the longest reigning Raw Women's Champions in the modern history. Actually history. No, not even modern. I think she's the longest reigning champion in history. I think Bianca Belair might have beaten it last year, I just realised. But yeah, at this point she was the longest reigning champion, Raw Women's Champion, and the only obstacle that she hadn't beaten at this point was Asuka, so that's why the match was happening. I'm glad that we went back to it. Asuka kind of drifted off into oblivion after beating Becky at the Royal Rumble 2019, so I'm glad they came back to it. Really good stuff right there. The match itself, tremendous stuff. The crowd wasn't into it because I think they were getting themselves ready for the Royal Rumble, but good stuff from Bex and Asuka, and Bex would overcome her obstacle and overcome her nightmare and defeat Asuka to retain the Raw Women's Championship in a very solid matchup to retain the Raw Women's Championship. And then we have the main event. We have the 30-man Royal Rumble match. We have the 30-man Royal Rumble match is the main event. Kicking off with the WWE Champion Brock Lesnar. You heard me right, the WWE Champion. So Brock Lesnar didn't have any challenges for his championship, so he basically wanted to start at number one and basically dominate every single person and eliminate and destroy the entire roster and win the Royal Rumble. At number one, because it's the only thing he hasn't done in his career is start at number one and win the Royal Rumble. He got halfway. He got halfway. I got mixed feelings on it. A part of me does think that, with Brock Lesnar dominating half the field and eliminating, he's tied with Braun Strowman now with the most eliminations at 13, if you count the greatest Royal Rumble, that is, which the commentators did. Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar on 13 eliminations in one Royal Rumble. Braun Strowman was a little bit of a cheater on that one. He had 50 men to deal with, not 30. So I love Braun. He's awesome. Hope he recovers soon and comes back bigger, better than ever. But Brock Lesnar, he had a great performance. As I said, I'm kind of in two minds about it. The domination. It was a shame that he did make the people who he did eliminate earlier on, the first 13 people, he did make them look a little bit geeky. Like the Nakamura's, the Cesaros, the John Morrisons, the Eliases, the Robert Roods. Former champions and great champions. Great wrestlers. And I would have loved to see like a longer Nakamura Cesaro Brock Lesnar match. But hey, it was what it was. That's what the position that they were in at the time. So, but it all set up Drew's moment to eliminate Brock Lesnar at number 16. Drew McIntyre came out at number 16, and after a sneaky low blow from Ricochet to get Brock Lesnar back for what Brock Lesnar did up to him the Monday before the Rumble, Drew McIntyre would hit the Claymore, knocking Brock Lesnar over the top rope, and kind of almost sealing Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre's fate going into the WrestleMania 36 And yeah, and then from that moment forward, the Royal Rumble kind of, it was like it was like two different matches in the same match. Because you had the first portion, which was the Brock Lesnar portion, where Brock just dominated everything, and threw everybody over. He had a good showdown with Keith Lee as well. Brock Lesnar did. Good stuff right there between Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar. Really made Keith Lee look dominant, and before eliminating him. Yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff right there. And then we had Drew McIntyre. He dominated a couple people. And then it felt like the last 5 entrants from like 25 onwards, really felt like like future star, people who could potentially win the Royal Rumble in future years, but never did. And people who could be like a main player, like a Kevin Owens, like a Samoa Joe, like a Aleister Black, like a Seth Rollins, like a Randy Orton. Randy Orton, he can always strike from out of nowhere, and just win the Royal Rumble at any moment because he's that good. Whether I like him or not. Yeah, I always still have a bone to pick with Randy Orton for the year 2020, for multiple reasons. But that, yeah, it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games. Set fire to Randy Orton's ass. It's all fun and games. The best part about the Royal Rumble, the most famous part about the Royal Rumble for me is the return of Edge. Edge returning after 9 years. That emotion that he showed when he came through the crowd, when he came through the entrance, and he walked through the smoke. It was awesome, man. Reliving it, I was jumping up and down, exciting. As the people would say, I marked out. Because it was good. It was a great moment. It was awesome. It was a great moment. And so was the finish. I loved the final sequence where Seth Rollins was being a dipshit heel, and we had the Authors of Pain and Buddy Murphy to eliminate Aleister Black and Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, continuing that feud going into WrestleMania. And then, of course, but then they would brawl to the back, leaving Seth on his own. So Seth was like, Seth got ganged up on by Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, Edge, and Drew McIntyre, which was great. Yeah, good stuff right there. And then, of course, it comes down to the main two. We got a little bit of a preview where Roman Reigns and Edge, they had a little bit of a battle, which was pretty cool to see. That was a little preview of what would happen a year later at WrestleMania 37. When the fans came back from the pandemic. And then Drew McIntyre would win the Royal Rumble. Good stuff right there. And then Drew McIntyre would go on to WrestleMania to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. So Drew gets his big moment in front of the fans. It's a shame that he didn't get his actual moment winning the championship in front of fans. But we'll talk about that most likely in the WrestleMania review when I get to it. In the future, March is coming up, around March and April time's coming up. I'll probably choose what WrestleManias I want to review then. But yeah, very solid Royal Rumble. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It was very solid. The in-ring stuff was tremendous. I had a fun time. I think I'm glad that my only criticism is the fact that there was just too many. It was 4 hours long, and when you see 4 hours on the marquee, and you're like, oh my god. It kind of tires you out a little bit. So, and some of the matches didn't need to be on, like, Bayley versus Lacey Evans. Nothing against them too, but I felt like that match really didn't need to be on the card. And I felt like some of the matches could have been shortened, like Corbin versus Roman could have been shortened. But yeah, solid show. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Tell me what you think in the comments. Leave me a like if I deserve it. And I'm going off to rest now and maybe have a nap. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Have a nice day, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Leave me a like if you deserve it. And I'll see you guys next time. And I'm out.